Mathematicians have calculated that there are more variations on the chessboard than follicles of hair on the human body. Think about that. No other game has the capacity of using the left brain and the right brain, mixing analytics, science, along with creativity, like the game of chess. But this story starts on a cold December night 2 years ago when the president of my chess academy, Suleiman, calls me. Mr. Omar, I really love chess. I respond, I really love chess too, Suleiman. What's going on? Mr. Omar, I don't know what to tell you. There's so much to say. You know, Dad was having a residency at Radio City Hall, and so all of us, me and my friends, flew out there. We were in New York City playing chess against the homeless geniuses. We come back a week later, and now my friends are knocking pieces down. They're calling me curse words. They're not finishing the game. They don't even have the decency to say checkmate when they win. My own brother calls me a loser after I win. I'm like, Suleiman, I'm a little busy. Like I told you, I'm a dad. I'm changing my daughter's diaper right now. But I quickly finish, and I get back to the phone. I'm like, Suleiman, what is really the problem? Mr. Omar, after you left us and went to Florida for graduate school, then we had an international master, and this international master was boring. This is not the way you taught us chess. Now, before I get to that part, it's important to know the backstory of this young man right here, standing ahead of you. That's my mother and I in Key West, Florida. Right before I was 2 years old, troubling situations happened to my mom, in which then I was sent to India and raised by my grandmother for the first 5 formative years of my life. There, my grandmother was my mother, my father, everything. I came back to the United States when I was almost 7 years old. At 7 years old, I knew 4 languages, and none of them were English. So I had to rely on social cues and ways of hand gestures. If I had to use the bathroom was number 1, that was signal number 1. If I had to go to the bathroom a little longer, it would be number 2. Now, a few weeks later, I'm at lunch, and a few kids around me. This is born in America, like I said. This is my grandmother that raised me. And my special goat, that's Gogo right there, the goat, my special pet. I used to run with it, play with it, drink its milk sometimes. How many can you do that with your pet? So, as I was saying, in the 2nd grade, the 1, 2, 3 story. So here I am at lunch, and I get, and a few friends, which I think are telling me, they're whispering in my ear. So then I stand up, I'm looking at them, and then they're like, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So then I stand up like I'm supposed to, stand up on the chair, and I put up my 3 fingers. Take the 1 and 2 away, Omar! And I'm left with this finger, which is the middle finger, which I didn't know. They're like, say hi to the classroom. Let the cafeteria know you're here. And so here I am. 3rd month of school, pretend it's the middle finger, and I'm waving it. People are laughing, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm making friends. A minute later, the principals come, grab my ears, take me down, and I'm taken to the principal office. Suspended 2 weeks. I'm like, what did I do? I just did the number 3. So, needless to say, a few months after that, I was ridiculed. People would see me. It's a 3 kid, there's a number 3 kid. And so I had low self-esteem at that time. And I was like, that's it. I got to get vengeance. I got to make things right. How am I going to do that? And 2 weeks later, it's a rainy day. We're having indoor recess. And I see those 2 very kids playing a game, a white kid and a black kid, playing a game with white pieces and black pieces. And as this brown kid, I was drawn in. So I walked over, sat down, pulled out my pen, started reading their lips. Pawn, 1. Knight, 3 points. Bishop, 3 points. Rook, 5. Queen, 10. King, 0 points worth the whole game. And just like that, I taught myself this game because of the emotions that I felt, and I felt like I had to make things right. And so, by the end of that year, I did. I challenged them, I played them, and I beat them. Those are the first 2 times I had ever won in anything at 7 years old. So this beautiful game of chess plays a story that reoccurs, but I wanted to share with you guys, chess was a game that was made to simulate warfare. The game that we see chess now is not the way it was created. As you see behind me on the slide, the major animals used for battle. So we'll say it out loud. What were the animals used for battle? A horse, the camel, and the elephant. No one would think that. And this are some of the beautiful things that the Indian civilization added to society, utilizing these animals in warfare. And they were fierce. In fact, Genghis Khan never made it to India because of these very elephants. And those very elephants made it on the chessboard. In fact, chess became such a novel thing that it was traded across the world like painting, like gold, like coffee, like anything else. And so this original game of chess, how you see ahead of you, was also made with the king and then the general. A lot of you thinking, there's no general on the chessboard. What are you talking about? So that game of chess, which started, which is known as Shatranj, went through India, went through North Africa and Europe, and made its way into Europe, into looking something like this. Now this is the current modern day chessboard, which the queen was replaced with the general was replaced with the queen, the elephant into a rook, and the camel became the bishop. They kept the horse, called it a knight. Now, this game was so much more than a game. For those that are seeking victories, that are seeking to redeem themselves, this game offers that and did that, and it has leadership qualities. And so, amazingly enough, after I played chess and then as I progressed, here I am at 13 years old in Ohio, and I'm playing for the state championship. What started with 500 kids came down to 2 kids, and the 2 kids are playing me and this kid, the dreadful name, Sergio. After 2.5 hours, I lose that match. I'm 3rd place. I go home. The consolation prize was all top 3 people will get an automatic bid to nationals. I tell my mom, Mom, I'm going to nationals. I'm going to nationals. My mom looks at the paper and says, no, you're not. She says, I'm working too hard to send you to private school. I can't afford these tournaments. You're an elder brother. You have to take care of your brother and sister. We can't do this. And she rips that national invitation down. And I'm picking up, I'm like, Mom, no, I want to be a champion. I can be a champion. And so when my star student Solomon called me crying, I remembered upon myself to that 13-year-old version of me. And I thought about, what would I have wanted? And so fast forward after that, I go on to college. I play a little bit of college chess. My mom always says, focus on your studies. You see, I come from a traditional family where education is valued above all else. And chess was looked upon by my mother as just a game. My father, just a game. Someone that I played with that I should have beat. My mom tells me, you have to get to private school. You have to go to college. You have to make it in life. This game will get you nowhere, son. But she didn't know the passion that I had inside of me. She didn't know how those 64 squares went with the dendrites within my brain, and it caused this new person to come and emerge. And that new person became Mr. Omar. I blended a little bit of my grandma, the patience, the love that I received from her, the nurture, with the strictness of my mother, and I formulated and I made this Mr. Omar person. And I started a chess academy in college. I thought, if my friends are working at restaurants and in retail, surely I can create my own academy, create my own revenue stream, and there teach children something powerful. Because after all, what else are we supposed to be doing if we're not supposed to be passing something on? And so I do that. I create the academy, and I start teaching valuable lessons. My students still to this day, even if they're 18 or 19, will call me Mr. Omar. They still will know they must shake their opponent's hand. They still, to this day, know that there's a certain integrity and respect that comes when you sit across your opponent. These are the tangibles of chess that are not taught, that are not looked upon by the average person. And so, as I began doing this, then I started this academy. I started teaching in Cincinnati. I started teaching in Yellow Springs. I started teaching in Columbus. I started teaching in Cincinnati. I graduate, of course. And my mom has the talk with me again. Says, son, a bachelor's degree in this day and age is just like a high school degree. And you have just a high school degree. I said, no, I don't, Mom. I have a college degree. No, you're not listening. You have to go to graduate school. And so off I went, leaving my academy, leaving my students, letting them know that my hands were tied and I had to achieve and that I would be back. And so I did. I left the academy and I go and I do all of those things. I get my master's, I get married, I have a child, make my mother a proud grandmother. So now I'm like, all right, I have her right where I want her. So then Suleiman calls me. And so I check with my wife, because now I'm married, and I have a 3-month baby. Tell my wife, I'm like, honey, I got to go. I got to take these kids to this championship, this tournament. This is a tournament that I took these kids to when they were 10 years old. Now they're 17, 18, on the cusp of graduating. I have a chance to impact them, to give them something that will become a lifelong friend, like chess was to me. My mom says, I'm tired of you worrying about other people's kids. You are my son. I'm worried about you. How about you make some more money? How about you have benefits and a 401? You got to take care of me, son. You're not sending me to senior citizen home. I'm like, I know, Mom. I will take care of you. But why can't I do all of that? And so it happened. This is a photo of before. This is Mr. Omar as a bachelor, not quite into grad school, with my students. You see, some of them are really sad. Some of them are mad. You see, chess is a game that forces you to deal with your inner self, that inner voice. We hear that inner voice in everything we do, whether it's at work, whether we're driving, whether we're working. There is that id, ego, superego voices between us telling us, do this, do that. And so my inner voice was telling me, follow your passion, follow your heart. So I tell my mom, Mom, what about they say, follow your passion, the money will come? My mom says, yeah, how about you listen to your mom, and you make your family proud, because you're the eldest brother. What you do, your brothers and sisters will do, and your daughter one day will do. So what did I do? I stuck with my academy. I balanced all the things, corporate career, marriage, and this chess academy. I probably slept like 2 hours a day, because I had no time. And so this 2017, when Suleiman called me, I went back to Yellow Springs, and we went to the tournament 2 years in a row now. And rather than me telling you how our team did, I have a small little video for you. All right, we're at the Queen City Classic. The kids are ready to play their game. Everyone, look over there and say hi. Hi.
Personal favorite teams here at the tournament, Mr. Omar. First place.
And so, thank you. And you guys probably noticed the two happiest people that were screaming was Suleiman, the kid that was doing like this with his shirt, and me as a coach, rushing up on stage with my team. The goal that I had of becoming first place, that personal goal that I had at 13, I wasn't able to fulfill. because I had obligations to my mother, to my family, and to what I needed to do. But I was able to bring back this joy, this passion, and pass it on to this next generation, to these kids who are here today, who are now juniors and seniors in high school, who are now presidents of Chess Academy and presidents of their school class. You see, chess has an innate ability to build leadership skills when taught with passion, when taught with integrity, when taught with a commitment to that child and to those kids. And that's what I have dedicated partially a part of my life to. So now I ask upon you all that are here, what is your passion? What is something that you have been good at that you had to suppress to make your mother or father or family proud? Think about your benefit to your society. It does not stop here, ladies and gentlemen. We live in a day and age where technology is moving so fast. When can we actually have two people sit together face to face? Regardless of age, regardless of socioeconomic background, but respecting the other person from one human mind to the other human mind, respecting what we have to offer, what we have to give, and what we're capable of. You see, ladies and gentlemen, chess is not just a game. To those people that will say, it's just a game, you're spending your life, my mom would say, you're wasting your time. Am I wasting my time, ladies and gentlemen? I can't hear you. Am I wasting my time? No. So I implore you today to pass your passion on, for the time is now. Thank you very much.